Hey, this is Real Talk Baseball. I'm Carlos Baseball. With me, as always, is Ernie Orange. We have a great show for you guys today. It is Sunday, June 9th, 2024. Dude, man, how's it going, Ernie?
Nothing much, man. Just enjoying this hot summer day here in LA. You know what? We had a great weekend for baseball. Not only was baseball in London, but we had a great showdown between the Dodgers and Yankees that just finished, but it was a great one. And I will have a whole detailed breakdown of how it all went down this weekend.
True, dude. So we're gonna go over the weekend recap, the London series, of course, the Yankees Dodgers series, and we're gonna talk about All-Star voting that already started, and we're gonna get close to trading deadlines, which is kind of amazing for every fan out there. So, stay tuned for that, and of course, we're gonna do our power rankings, and that's gonna be something we're gonna get into. I don't know. We probably have something similar, something different. We'll probably have to wait and see. But listen to us all the way. And if you have any questions, go ahead and post them here. Dude, I just want to give a quick shout out to my boys that play Sunday League Baseball. They just won the championship today. They went into extra innings. They won eight
Oh,
of four. So, congratulations on that big win. I mean, when you get older, you're trying to feel like, what the hell? Am I going to still play baseball? Am I going to win a championship? Dude, we got there. And I guess I was part of the team. It's just these last games, I wouldn't be able to make it. And they kept playing and they won the championship, dude. That's pretty amazing, man. So I got to give a big congratulations to all the guys. All my boys are celebrating right now. They're drinking, having a
what?
good time, dude. So
All
yeah, man.
right.
Yeah. So I just wanted to go ahead and do that, man. But yeah, dude, big time series in New York this weekend. Um, it was amazing. I mean, of course, we'll get into that a little bit. I got ahead of myself because I'm excited about it. But let me go ahead and start with the NL recap, dude. I'll go and start with the Braves and Nationals, man. The Braves are not looking too good. They lost 3 out of 4 in that series, and the Nationals, I mean, in their last 10, they're 4 out of 6, 4 out of 10. Like those 4 games that they played against the Braves, it kind of looked like the Braves were able to come back, but they just couldn't pull through. So the Nationals did win that series.
Oh,
We
wow.
went to the Cubs and Reds. I mean, that one, the Cubs took that series. I mean, the Reds took that series, and the Reds are playing good baseball right now. Their last 10, they're 8 and 2. So I mean, they could probably be in the power rankings in one of our ranking standings. So we'll see. Then you have the Twins and Pirates. The Pirates have been playing good baseball. They beat the Dodgers at the beginning of the week, and now they beat the Twins, another team that's fighting to stay on top of the Central and try and move into first place. They took 2 out of 3 on that one. You have the Guardians and Marlins. The Guardians took 2 out of 3 on that one, and then you're looking at the Rockies, Cardinals. They took 2 out of 3 against the Rockies. And then you have the D backs and Padres. That one started on Thursday. That was a 4 game series. They split the series 2-2. The Padres seemed like they get to that 500 level and then they go back down. They go back up and they go 1 game back. And it's like, are they in the power rankings? We'll see at the end. And then you have the Phillies and Mets, the London series, which was really exciting for baseball. And we'll get into it a little bit later because this is something amazing for baseball because you get to see Bryce Harper out there. You get to see all these guys from the Phillies, and of course, a lot of people are waiting to see where they are and where they rank in our power rankings this week. So, yeah, take it away, Ernie, with the AL, man.
Yeah, definitely. We had a great weekend in the AL as well. We're gonna get started with the Astros and Angels. The Astros went ahead and won 2 out of 3. Angels avoided the sweep today with a Logan O'Hoppe 2-run home run that looked like it was caught by Trey Cavich, but luckily, like it seemed like there was some fan interference by a Texas Ranger fan there, and the Angels were able to win today. So, we avoided one this weekend. But Houston won 2 out of 3. We have the Giants and Rangers. The Giants went ahead and won 2 out of 3 in Texas with strong performances from Logan Webb. And not only that, but the Rangers avoided a sweep today with a strong performance by Nathan Ovaldi and Marcus Semien home run. We have the Orioles and Rays that are playing a 4 game set. They still have 1 game remaining tomorrow, but the Orioles have won the last 3 games in the Tropicana field. Really strong performances by Kyle Bradish and Grayson Rodriguez. Grayson Rodriguez was throwing almost a perfect game. Kyle Bradish in the bullpen pitched 2-hit game. The Orioles are looking great too, man. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what's going on with the race, but this is not their year.
No.
We have the Brewers and Tigers. The Brewers went ahead and took 2 out of 3 in Detroit, with strong performances as well from their offense. But today, Tarek Skubal and the team avoided a sweep by a 10K performance by Skubal. We have the Red Sox and White Sox that played a 4-game series as well. They went ahead and split it, and the White Sox was able to win one on Friday, which much needed win. They were able to avoid a 14. They were actually in a 14-game losing streak, so it was great for them. So it's good that the White Sox finally won. We have the Mariners versus the Royals. Royals went ahead and won the first 2 games of the series, and Mariners avoided the sweep today by Julio Rodriguez, a game-winning run. So that was good to see for the Mariners. And lastly, we have the Blue Jays and A's. Blue Jays went ahead and won 2 out of 3 in Oakland, and Blue Jays were able to take the series win today with a Isaiah Kiner-Falefa bases loaded double in the 10th inning to deliver the win. And lastly, last but not least, the game of the week, the superstar matchup, Yankees versus Dodgers. What a great series we had there. As you guys can see, Dodgers and Yankees went 0-0 into the extra innings. It was an amazing game, pitching performance left and right. Saturday night, we had explosion home runs, and then today, Trent Grisham with a 3-run bomb to give the lead to the Yankees after the Yankee fans were saying, "We want Soto." Well, guess what? Your backup guy, Grisham, bailed you guys out from that sweep. So good for him. Good for baseball. What are your thoughts on this Yankees-Dodgers series, Carlos?
Dude, I didn't know there was other series going on. To be honest, I was just focused on Dodgers Yankees. I mean, it's a baseball show. I know it's not something that people don't want to hear, but I'm gonna be honest. I'm a huge Dodger fan, as you guys know. And for me, from Friday to Saturday to Sunday, like like we got a show. I got to show up. I got to make sure I know what's going on in the rest of the league. So I mean, it's amazing for the game. It's a good thing that the Dodgers and Yankees are playing every year. You know, one year they're playing in New York and one year they're playing Los Angeles. Maybe they need to try to expand it a little bit more for fans to get more into the game. I feel like the game is getting away a little bit from, we're trying to attract more young fans. Maybe this is the way. Maybe getting the two historic franchises to do it. You have the West Coast, East Coast rival thing, kind of like a 90s type deal, the rap, you have the East, you have the West, and you had this going on. But I think it was amazing, dude. Like, even if the Dodgers hadn't win this series, I thought it was a really, really good played out game, except the one on Saturday. I think the Dodgers took off a little bit early. I kind of got a little bored by the 7th, 8th inning. I mean, yeah, they did mash on the Yankees, but that Friday game for me was like a playoff atmosphere type of game. And it was cool. Like, you can see who's a gamer and who's showing up to the game. So Yoshinobu showed up and he did really good, dude.
Yeah.
He performed. You have Aaron Judge, he performed. He did really good. He hit a home run yesterday, 2 home runs yesterday, and then you have Teoscar Hernandez showing up. Like, who is this guy? Like, he took a pay cut to play for the Dodgers. He wanted this big moments, and he's doing it. So I mean, as a baseball fan, I love it. And do you like the fact that this happened?
Oh, really exciting for the game of baseball. We need to see this more often. We need to see this more into the playoffs and World Series. The game was at another level. I think I even forgot there was NBA Finals or any other sporting event as well, because we were just all dived into this Dodgers Yankee. Even the fans. Look how well the Dodger fans went ahead and traveled to the Bronx yesterday. The amazing fans traveling from 3,000 miles away just to make sure they're there. It was a great weekend, man. And Teoscar Hernandez, the answer, like you said, he did take a pay cut, and he's not scared of the moment. Yamamoto is just as well. He's a gamer, got paid at $325 million. People were doubting him, but he showed why he deserves that money and why he will be an impact in the playoffs. And I think that's a huge factor for the Dodgers, which they really need to focus on, because every October comes around, and this is where the Dodger fans start fading away, because they know they're worried what could possibly happen. Ohtani and Mookie kind of been kind of quiet lately. Freddie Freeman hasn't been the same star we've seen in previous years. He is getting much older, but he's still a great first baseman. And like Neto says here, defense did cost them the game to avoid the sweep. Pages missing that fly ball in center field. It was a crush ball. Mookie made that mistake in second. I'm sorry. Yeah, it hit second short.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, give it to the Dodgers. They played really great, even giving the Yankees missing Cole and Soto. I know we wanted Soto in this series. It's goddamn Aaron Boone. Put him in the lineup. kind of just teasing us, kind of putting him in the decoy with the bat in the box, acting like he was gonna bat, and he really didn't. And now they're stating he will play tomorrow against the Royals. Yeah, too late now, Aaron, but we really needed him this weekend. And I think that's what the Yankees fans wanted too. We pay big money for these games, and as fans, we deserve to see the best superstars out there in the field.
I agree, dude. And there's a lot of Yankee fans saying, oh, the first game that happened on Friday, we needed Soto on the field. Yeah, of course you did. It's a different lineup when you have Soto in there. But to be honest, Judge is on that team. Stanton's on that team. Verdugo's on that team. You have
Yes.
nothing but stars in there, just kind of like the Dodgers have nothing but stars. I see Vince keep saying Jose Ramirez is better than Judge. You know what? After seeing this weekend, I'm like, oh, that's a big debate and a huge debate that we need to have on here because you're looking at Judge and you're looking at that Yankee team without Judge. I don't think they do anything. And without Soto, you saw what happened the first two games. They needed someone else to back Judge up,
Yes.
so that's kind of crazy. And I know last week we talked about the Guardians, being a team that not a lot of people are talking about. Once that team takes off and they meet up, I think it's going to be a good series as well. And we can have that talk and we can say, you know what, Jose Ramirez did, Judge did that, and we can compare the two. And that's going to be exciting because that's the type of things that we like to talk about here. Because when you match teams like that are in first place and they bring and attract crowds like this, it just makes it funner for baseball fans because look how lit up we are right now just talking about this series. And when you see first place teams play like this, it's like, wow, this is what this baseball is all about. And it happens in every sport. Lakers, Celtics, you see that and you're like that fiery, rivalry happening. And
Yes.
that's what's exciting about it. So Vince, you're saying Jose is better, and you know what? That's they're gonna meet up, and that's gonna be dope. Thank you guys for joining. If you guys are your first time here, you can go ahead and hit that subscribe button and help us out. Hit that like button if you haven't done so yet. If there's something that you want to go ahead and talk about, go ahead and post it here. I know there's a lot of messages going on right now, and I'm trying to keep up with them, and we'll go through them as we go through the show. But yeah, man, exciting, dude. Exciting news. Not just this series, but the London series as well. The Phillies and Mets, they went out to London. What do you think about that one?
It was kind of interesting. The players were given a day off on Friday compared like to the normal schedule based on the flights. It was interesting. I'm not sure if we like it in the middle of the season. It's kind of rough for the players, the traveling. It is like a 5-hour flight. Other than that, the Philly series was great. Seeing Bryce Harper hit a bomb and do the soccer slide. They call it soccer, but in reality, it's football back in England. It was amazing. The fans were excited to see this. There was a lot of Philly fans that went ahead and traveled to London, and Phillies came out and they rocked Sean Manea, and they brought in some runs in. And unfortunately, it's the Mets. They fought really hard, and I give them props because they did travel far and they put a performance today. They were able to come back from being down twice today. Their catcher made an incredible play to make a double play to end the game. You got to give it up to these guys. They're playing really hard baseball, given the circumstances. We all knew the Mets were going to be terrible. I mean, who are we to say? You gave up, you traded Verlander, and you traded Scherzer last year, and you say you were not going to compete this year. You didn't spend enough money. Your top base was Jose Quintana, and that's just to me was never the answer. And that's why I feel like the Mets, given their situation, they did okay. They split a series with them 2-2. And what are your thoughts on it? Did you like this London series? A lot of fans were there, right?
You know what? I did keep up with it. I did see the highlights, and I did see the. I woke up early in the morning to try to see the game, and it's exciting when you have a game that's going on and there's no other games going on. Like today, the ESPN game, the showcase game, right? You have the London series going on, and I don't know, maybe the Yankee Dodger series overshadowed this
A little
this
bit. You're
right,
right.
and I think it happened at the wrong time. It shouldn't have happened that way. Maybe baseball or MLB was all right, let me take baseball to London and have more, I don't know, more people watch baseball than basketball because we are in the basketball championship and the Stanley Cup, I believe. So there's a lot of competition going on with sports. And of course, baseball is going to be like, let me put my two best teams out there and face each other. And I'm going to go ahead and do that in London. So I don't know the strategy or the business strategy or business side of MLB or what they're trying to do. If it worked, good for them. Like you have a lot of people watching, and that's good. The thing that I have against the London series is that it happened during the season. It should happen at the beginning of the season because these players that fly for 14, 15, 6, I don't know how many hours. They get there, they still got to go do their press conference. They still got to go and get used to the time zone because it's different than ours. And
right?
that's hard on the player. Like they were talking about how the Phillies are playing good baseball. They are playing good baseball, and they still go out there to London and they still score 6, 7. Ranger Suarez pitched a good game after he got hit in his hand on what was it, Tuesday or Monday, and
Mhm.
he still did it right. I mean that they get a pitch limit on him, and they didn't let him go out after the believe the 6th inning. But I mean they did a good job, dude. Like I can't complain, and I just think it needs to happen in the beginning. Do you agree with that, or do you think this is okay?
I think Bryce Harper brought up a good point. He was interviewed for by the NY Post earlier this week, and he said, "What are your thoughts on the London series?" And he said, "How about we bring 4 teams to London and we stay out here for a week or week and a half, and we play a round robin style where we all face each other, but we're playing in London this whole time." And it hit me. I was like, "This is actually a bright idea." Now you could give the guys to stay in London for a whole week. Obviously, they're going to be away from their families, but how about you bring them with you? The Dodgers did that when they went to Korea, right? And they
Yeah,
were able to play and stay local to London and then play those 3 other teams. And when I do that, and that way you are able to grow the game of baseball because at the end of the day, London loves football more than baseball, unfortunately. And if you really want to grow the game, you have to bring not more than just 1 or 2 teams. You should bring 3 or 4, right? And I don't know, man. Bobby Witt over Jose Ramirez. Come on, Will. They're both great players. Don't get me wrong,
yeah.
but Bobby Witt is definitely a star. I have him as one of the top tier players in the baseball league right now as a shortstop. Jose Ramirez. Sorry. And let's go back to the topic London series. But yeah, other than that, what can we
We got
say,
too
man?
excited. We got too excited. I was reading it too, and I'm like, wait, I want to answer, but then you got to it. I'm like, hey, cool.
Oh man, let's just say that the London series was great for the game of baseball. We need to have this more often. They are expected to go back to 2026. And like I said, MLB is planning on expanding 2 more teams. They're expecting to be a 32-team league pretty soon. And they've considered London as an option, but I just don't see it happening in London. There's no way the travel could make it work. It's almost impossible. I think Bryce Harper idea was the best, doing a 4-team travel, stay for a week or two, and play round robin style.
I think that makes sense. I think that's a good idea. And when a superstar like that says something, it's because they're like, okay, maybe they're just trying to get it out there, get it for the fans to get it into their heads and be like, that's not a bad idea. And MLB is like, okay, well, maybe we need to put it out to the polls and see what, the fans are really wanting from this. And if people want to see baseball out in, Europe, then this is the way to do it. You have 4 teams go out there, you go do it, and that's going to be great for baseball. Like for baseball to grow, why not, right? But it's just for me, I think it needs to be at the start of the season, not in the middle.
You
And
know,
right, so
sorry to cut you off, but in
yeah,
football and soccer out there in Europe, they bring the European teams during the off season to promote their game as well here. But it's
yeah,
friendly games that don't exhibition games that don't really matter. But that's how they're able to promote their game. So how about we do exhibition and not really regular season? How about that as well? Maybe
yeah,
you're play
that's
the
true.
preseason over there.
Yeah, or do a little tournament like the basketball did. The in
In
season tournament,
season,
in
yeah,
season, right? They can do that, and before the season starts, they can go ahead and promote it that way. They've done that before, I believe they started doing that in the early 2000s, and it was some exhibition games. They go play against whoever, the national team from wherever they go, and they play them, and then they play the 2 games, and then they go home. So, I mean, there's a lot of ideas to go out there. I mean, I'm pretty sure that's what's going on, but I wouldn't mind going to see a baseball game out there in Europe. I wouldn't mind going to Puerto Rico. I wouldn't mind going to Mexico. I wouldn't mind going. I still haven't gone to Canada. I need to do that.
yes,
That's what happens that you're wearing the Blue Jays hat. So I need to do that. That's another country. Canada's another country, so why not, right? But yeah, dude,
yes.
I think it's a good idea. And you want to talk about the All Stars? I mean, we can go ahead and do that.
Oh,
I didn't
so
get mine.
yeah,
Yeah,
you didn't
I
get
didn't get
yours.
mine
All
in.
right.
No, no, no. But I kind of agree with yours, and that's why I wanted to
I
get to
think
that point. Yeah,
I think it's pretty straightforward. I mean, I've seen a lot of people's all-star voting, and it's been some crazy results. You've got guys putting like way underperforming players just because they prefer that team. They're voting for those guys. Like they're voting Yankee players just because they don't like the Yankees. And that's what I hate about the all-star voting, man. I feel like it should be 50-50. I think the players should have the ability to vote themselves and
yeah,
also make an impact on the results of the all-star voting. We are in the situation right now where people are competing Jose Ramirez over Jose Ramirez is a clear cut at third base, right? But we also have the situation where Bobby Witt against Gunnar Henderson. Who you go for short in the AL,
That's a
right?
better question. That's a better
That's two
question.
that's two amazing players that are both deserving to be starters, right?
Yeah.
But Bobby Witt is obviously has less home runs, but has a better batting average, more RBIs, more on base percentage. And then, so who do you choose? That's a tough one for me there. First base for the National League, we have the Bryce Harper, Freddie Freeman. Who gets that nod? You got the Will Smith versus William Contreras from the Brewers catcher. Will Smith. He's a great catcher, but I think Contreras has been in another level this year, just a bit above than Smith, right?
Yeah.
That National League outfield is not looking strong this year. Your top guys are Jurickson, Profar, Tatis, and Teoscar Hernandez. Who would have thought that two Padre outfielders would be your top guys in the National League? And that just goes to show that the National League has not the greatest outfield this year. I just so used to seeing so many star-studded players, and this year I'm not seeing it. I just feel like a lot of players have underperformed, and I mentioned it over time and again. Players are just struggling big time. Like you got the Julio Rodriguez. I really hope I don't see Mike Trout in the All-Star this year. I really don't think he deserves it. Unfortunately, he's hurt, and I don't know, man. What are your thoughts on it? Do you agree with my picks here?
I do. I saw Jarek's profile, and I'm like, he needs to be in there. He's surprising a lot of people. He's playing good for Padres. He's one of those players. If he's out of that lineup, the Padres are a little lost without him. And he deserves to be on there. And all the guys that were on your list, I'm like, I agree with. That's why I didn't create my own, because I'm looking at it. I'm like, wow, like this is what needs to happen. If you're a baseball fan and you are like, deep into it, and you want to see the best players on that field that are performing on 2024 season, not the 2023, 2022, not because he's the fan favorite of your team, you gonna get him on there. Like, no, it shouldn't be that way. It should be the best players. That way we get to see a good all-star game. We don't get to see like a 200 hitter, batting fourth because he has 25 home runs. I'm like, I don't know about that. Like, I think we need to have the best hitters on there, the best defensive players. And you're right. Yeah, you have players that are competing for that top or that starting role, which in my eyes, I see it there, and I'm like, okay, this is what needs to happen. I know you are a fan, like Philly fans, Dodger fans, Yankee fans, Braves fans. They have Acuna on there, and it's like, Acuna's out for the season. Why are you voting for him? There's no point. You're wasting a vote. So I really encourage people to vote the right way, not to vote the way that, oh, this is my favorite, I'm gonna go ahead and do that. If it's a close one, why not, right? So this brings me to this question: should fans still vote? And that's one of the huge things, because in the past we've had players that don't deserve to be on that ballot. And why aren't they on the ballot, right? So
Yeah,
should they?
I feel like 50% should go towards the fans, and then the 50% should be within the players and writers. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think so. I think it should be a peer vote, meaning, the players get to vote for them. Of course, the fans should have something to say about it, but it shouldn't be solely on them. And then, of course, the managers, whoever's going to be managing that game, kind of needs to say who needs to be on there as well. Like, I get it. You have Julio Rodriguez. He's not doing all that great, but what if he makes the All-Star game? What if he goes? He's not doing all that great. You could have had someone else. What if I don't know. I know Juan Soto and Aaron Judge are not going to miss it, but what if Kyle Tucker, because he plays for the hated Astros, he doesn't make that team? That's going to suck, right? We're not going to get to see the best outfielders out there. So that's what I mean. Like, I don't know, man. I'm kind of like, I didn't like this from the get go when it first started, early 2000s, because I wanted to see, MLB make this decision, because that's better. You kind of look at it and you're like, okay, why is this player on here? Okay, well, he has this, he has that. And when you have fans, there's bigger fan bases out there that, of course, are going to overtake the votes for the smaller markets. And I guarantee you, Profar is not up there. If you look at the percentage of players that are making the All-Star game, I guarantee you he's probably second or third. He's not the first player that people are looking at, and that sucks. That really sucks. I mean, right? Even if he's across, like for me, like he's in the West, he's a crosstown rival or a division rival. Like, I look at that and I'm like, yeah, he deserved it. Even if there was a giant that was performing well, why not have him in there? Like, if Barry Bonds was on there, hell yeah, I want him on the All Star team. Why not? But that's just that's just how it is, dude. So I
Definitely,
mean,
definitely.
yeah,
I feel like we are an agreement on a lot of this stuff, and I think as fans, we want the best players out there, right? This year has been kind of interesting. Another kind of picks that I had here was the Ali Rushman against Salvador Perez as catcher for the American League. That was a tough choice. Both guys are having great performances. I think Ali Rushman has like 2 RBIs more than Salvi and like 2 more home runs. So that's why I went Ali Rushman. And obviously, he's playing for a much better Oriole team, right? So you got to give him the benefit of the doubt. And after watching him hit a grand slam today, I was convinced. I went in Rushman. So he kind of sold me on that. And he's much younger than Salvador Perez. Another one that kind of surprised me was putting Vladimir Guerrero as my first baseman. I know wearing a Blue Jays hat, and I know he's on the trade market, and he's not been performing the best of his abilities as he's had in previous years. But that first baseman is very thin in the American League. I haven't seen that weakness in the first base in a very long time. I
yeah,
can remember growing up in the MLB American League had some top first basemen, some tough hitters. Talking about Paul O'Neill, Tino Martinez, Carlos Lee. You mentioned first baseman Paul Cornerico, top of the top, Carlos. The best of the best hitters were usually in first base.
yeah,
And this year, you're not. Who's out there? Blatty? That's your top guy, I
yeah.
guess, right?
Yeah. And when you're talking about all stars, you're talking about home run derby. If you were watching today's game, they were talking to Oscar Hernandez and asking him, will he be part of the home run derby? And he said, I wouldn't mind doing it. They just kind of have to kind of ask me to do it. So if maybe if he continues what he's doing, because he showed out today. And if you want to see home runs, Aaron Judge should be in there. Bryce Harper should be in there. To Oscar Hernandez, he could probably be in the mix, So he's not one of those big names out there, of course. He's one of the up and coming players that he's played for the Mariners, and he was kind of lost in that. So that could work. Jose Ramirez, he already did it. I don't know if he's going to want to do it again, but he's another name that can be out there. So,
Definitely.
um, Seager, he's going to be out there in Texas so that he can show out over there and show for the fans, like, hey, so this is a thing. Do you think that the All Star needs to change and needs to kind of make it an All Star weekend to where they add more things for fans to do and to watch players? I don't know. I don't know if they have media there. I'm pretty sure they do. They have the red carpet or the blue carpet, whatever they
Right.
call it. And I know they have the home run derby. I know they have the All Star game, but maybe adding a competition of who throws the furthest. Because you showed me a video, Yamamoto throwing from one line to the other side of the line, the foul ball line to the other side of the foul ball line. That's a great competition to have. Of course, they got to warm up before they do it, but I want to see how hard they throw, or they throw it over center field. That would
Yes.
be amazing, dude. Wouldn't it?
You bring a good point. I think definitely the All-Star formatting has to change. They have to add some more activities, change it up because it's definitely not looking great. And if you ask me, I'm not trying to be a downer and everything like that, but the All-Star game has just not been the same what it once was, right? And every year we hear more bad things about it than good. So I think definitely things like that would be great. I know in Korea and Asia baseball, they make in their All-Star games, they do like bunting drills. Who bunts the best? Who could hit the ball at this location, and that's what we really want to see.
Yeah,
Who's the best guy to hit it to left field in this circle target? That would be amazing.
yeah,
But sadly, the All-Star game has just, I don't know, lost its fun. I don't know. We're hoping for the best this year. And as MLB fans, we want the great players to be playing there.
yeah. And right after the All Star game happens, everybody starts speculating about trades, and that's where we start being like, hell yeah, this is where it starts getting intense. This is where it starts getting
Yes.
where these teams need to pick up a big trade or one of the trades we talked about last week, and I'll go ahead and talk if we got time for it. We were talking about Lindor. Is he going to move? Are they going to move that big contract? Are the Mets going to get rid of him? Are they going to sign Pete Alonso? Are they going to trade him? And we talked about the Mets, of course, and one team that I looked at and I'm looking at that they need help. It's the Guardians. Why not spend the money on someone? Remember, Jose Ramirez took a pay cut. Why not pick him up again? He played good out there in Cleveland. You can take him out there. He can go ahead and show him and be the shortstop for the Cleveland Guardians. I know he was for the Indians. He wasn't there when they changed the name, I think, right?
I think
No, right?
Vincent. I think Vincent's saying we'll take Frankie back in Cleveland, and I think you're right. It would be a great reunion. Bring back 2016 days, and it'll be great for the for the game of baseball. You make some great points there. The Guardians definitely need some help,
Shortstop.
and
Yeah.
they need a shortstop out there. Who is their current shortstop?
Vince, you're gonna have to help me on that one because they do.
Yeah,
Yeah, because they do need a shortstop, and that's the one that I saw that needs a shortstop, and I'm like, okay, well, Frankie's there, they can go ahead and get him back. Spend a little bit of money to do it. Why not do it and give the Cleveland fans something to go root for? So I
exactly.
mean, they're in first place. They're in first place. They're not in first place, because they're it's a fluke. No, they're beating up on these teams, and they're doing what they need to do to
Who
stay in
saw
first.
this coming? I don't think nobody had the Guardians at number one. Steven Volk has been doing a great job. I think Vincent say their shortstop is Brian Rocio, if I'm even saying that right. But this is great for the game of baseball. They've done tremendously well with Tanner Beebe, Tristan McKenzie, Logan Allen. They've held it down, and the bullpen, Emmanuel Clase, top of the top best relievers out there we have in this game, and that's why the Guardians are number one these days.
Yeah,
Wait, wait,
yeah.
wait. I don't know about 2024 World Series champions, but I don't know about you, Vince. Do you see them winning the championship?
With the current team, or they
No,
need to make trades.
they need to make moves because the Yankee
They
team
do.
is way more powerful than them right
I
now.
agree. They need to make moves, and yeah, they're a smart market team. They need to make that move, and they need to go and get their player. They need to make that move, and we'll see where they are in the power rankings. They didn't do so well this week, but it doesn't mean that just because they didn't do well this week, or they didn't. It's not that they didn't do good. They didn't do good, but you have the front teams that are doing good things, right? So should we go ahead and post it already, or
Yeah,
should we
I think
give
it's
more suspense?
no. Let's just go ahead and do it, man. We're in the halfway mark of the show. I think people are ready to see our weekly power rankings and see who is the top dog in MLB right now as of
All right.
9th of June.
Okay. Cool.
Wow,
So
too many
so it
similarities in
changed.
this power rankings.
It changes every week. It doesn't stay the same. Well, for
That
me, it hasn't. We had the Yankees up there last week, right?
right?
And the Yankees did win 8 out of what they had 8 out of 10. They've been playing good baseball, but this series here with the Dodgers, there's the first series lost, by the way, in 6 series. So they were playing exceptional. It's just the Phillies. The Phillies don't let up. They, like I said, they go to a different country. They play really good baseball, and I mean, dude, I had arguments with people on freaking YouTube saying, "Why are the Phillies not in first? And they should be on top." And yeah, they're on top now. Like definitely, they're the best team out there. Doesn't matter who they're facing, they're winning. So this is what they're supposed to do. This is what I kind of feel like they need to go ahead and take off with the division. You have the Braves that are not playing that well, and it's kind of like, you know, it sucks. But I'll let you start with your picks, and you want to start from 10 or you want to start from 1. I mean, it's just there for everybody
Yeah,
to
let's
see.
right. Let's just go with 1 through 5. I think me and Carlos both agree, and I think most fans will tell you that the Phillies should deserve the number one spot. Yes, like the Yankees are too. I know the Dodgers went ahead and won the series this weekend, but the Yankees, like Carlos mentioned, have been winning a lot out here in the West Coast. And this is their first loss in the series. The Orioles are cruising by. They're still playing great baseball. The Guardians have just stayed put, still playing great first base ball. But, when you have these top four teams, bigger market teams, obviously they're going to get more bigger credit.
So I
Brewer,
had the Guardians in 3 last week, and then I moved them down because they didn't do so well. Like that's what I mean by doing well in the series. And
yeah,
I mean, and it's not that bad. They won 6 out of the 10, which is good. But just the teams that are ahead, they won 7, 8 out of 10. So that's just the reason, and that's what makes it kind of hard for the power rankings because you're looking at who they're playing, you're looking at the how many wins they got, and this is what's happening. This is a result of that, of course.
yeah.
Sorry, Ernie, didn't mean to cut you
No,
off.
definitely. I think I totally agree with you. But then we have the Brewers and Royals 6 and 7. I think they're playing the same amount of baseball, same level. The Brewers are in first place in the NL Central. The Royals are just right behind the Guardians, still competing really well. The Braves, I still have them eighth. I know they're playing really poorly these days, but somehow something tells me that the Braves are still better than the Mariners if they were to match up today. And that's why I have the Braves over the Mariners. The
Wow.
Mariners went ahead and lost 2 out of 3 to the Kansas City. That's why they've been going down, but their pitching is great, man. But something is up with them. I know they're in first place, but the AOS is not the same. And here we go to number 10, where I have the Twins this week. I had them in the 11th spot last week. I had the Padres on number 10, and they went to shit the bed. They got swept by the Angels. Then they lost to the Diamondbacks. So they lost 4 in a row. So that's why I don't have them in the top 10 anymore. If any Padres fans are out there, I feel like the Padres have declined a little bit. But man, you have the Reds at number 10. That's a huge shocker to me. But
Yeah,
and it's funny because the Reds are actually under 500.
they
It's
are.
crazy these days in the MLB. There is currently only 10 teams with a record with above 500.
I
I have
agree.
never seen this. You're talking about 20 teams are currently playing under 500 ball guys.
I agree.
This is the
Yeah,
first time you ever seen this. I've never seen this in my whole life in baseball. Just
dude.
saying.
So when you see teams that are kind of playing that, and I mentioned that earlier when the Padres are playing that 500 ball, under 500, one game above 500. You see the Reds doing the same thing. You see the Twins slipping a little bit because I believe they won 4 of their last 10, and they're slipping a little bit down. So, but they do have above 500 record in that AL Central. But you're looking at the Reds. They won 8 out of 10 in this last 10 games, and they're playing good baseball right now. I know they lost today, but they're doing good. I feel like they do deserve to be a lot better than what they're showing. You get these spurts where you have these players showing up, and that's why I have the Reds on there. I know they're under 500. You have the Twins that are above 500, but that's the only reason why I picked them. I do have the Twins 11, it was kind of tough. I told you when I was making this, I was like, do I have the Twins in there? So I'm like, you know what? So I can have it a little different than you, and I can spark a little bit of people's interest and say, why do they have the Reds? Then they can go ahead and send us a message, and I'll answer, of course. But this is why I put the Reds in there, and I think they deserve it, dude. I think they do deserve it. I just feel like they're gonna start getting hot. They're gonna start competing out there in the Central. And I mean, who knows? They'll make some trades too. And we're talking about the Guardians making that trade. They can probably go and make that trade. Remember, Pete Alonso might be available for everybody if the Mets decide to let him go. And what way to go ahead and get someone in that red uniform? Pete Alonso will fit right in, and they have the pieces to trade, dude. So, um, I don't know, how do you feel about that, but I think it's a long shot, but it could happen, right? It's baseball. We've seen some worse trades or trades happen that they move players to places that you're like, what, really? They traded them there? Like, why? And then it
Really
doesn't
has.
work out, and then they let them go. But that'll be a great trade. That's a piece that I would like to see. Um, Vince is saying that Alonso to Cleveland. I don't know. uh, uh, I don't think that'll happen unless it's a trade package out there to the Guardians. But I see Lindor going to Cleveland more than I do Pete Alonso. And I have a question, Ernie. Do you
Yeah.
see Pete Alonso moving from the Mets?
Ah, man, this is a tough one. I know the Mets were really hoping to signing this guy, but it's not looking great. And I do see them trading him. I don't think they want to make the same mistake the Angels did last year, keeping Otani. I think they know they're in the rebuild mode and they have to start fresh. They have a lot of young talent in their minor league system. And I think they're just going to go out and trade them this season. I know there's going to be a lot of teams calling and a lot of teams desperate for a top tier first baseman. And this is wild, man. I couldn't believe it, but the polar bear must go somewhere else. Unfortunately, he has to leave New York, but I think it will be for the better.
Yeah, yeah. And do you know what team he'll probably go to if you had to pick one?
Oh man, I think a top market team would make that splash. Definitely.
The Yankees? They need a first
I,
baseman. They need a first baseman.
They really do. Rizzo has not performed well, and you know the Yankees are always willing to take that 1 year rental just to win the title. Why not?
Yeah, yeah. Well, this is our power rankings. If you agree with them, give us a thumbs up. If you don't agree with them, give us your top 10 and let us know why you have those top 10. Or you don't have to tell us why. You could just mention, so it won't, so the message won't be that long. You know, you can switch up teams and say, well, number 10, I would have a different team than what you guys have. Or, you know what? I don't like your number 2 or number 3. I think the Orioles belong there or the Guardians belong there. I mean, those are our picks. We don't just go ahead and put them on there because this is our teams we like. Trust me, I want to see the Phillies up there. I mean, I just got to give them their credit, and their credit is due, and that's why they're number one. They're doing good. They're playing really good baseball right now, and you have to give them credit, and that's where I'm kind of giving them that credit. And yes,
Cool.
like I said, I've been fighting back and forth with people messaging. So yes, they're number one. So that's what it is right now. So um, do
Man.
you? Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. Oh, I have another question. My bad. Let me go ahead and
Go
put
for it,
it
go
on
for it.
here.
I want to have a trivia question for today. I know it was the Yankees Dodgers. I have a
No, that's
trivia
good.
one for you.
Yeah. Go for it. Go for it.
I want to ask you, and anybody in the chat that wants to help out Carlos, how many World Series have the Yankees and Dodgers played against each other in MLB history?
Oh
And
man, I know that one.
you know that
And
one?
how many? And how many? How many? Okay, keep going. There's another part to the question.
No. Just asking how many. And I bet you already know the record if you know how many they played.
They played 11. They played 11. 11 World Series, and not all of them happened when Dodgers were out here in LA. They happened in when they were in New York. You know, they got to face the Yankees out here. I want to say 4 times, and they won 2 against the Yankees. I remember, if you guys were that old, I wasn't alive then, but Reggie Jackson was a part of one, and he pretty much, if you see the replay, there was one play that he was interfering and they didn't even call it. They let the game go, and Tommy Lasorda went out there and argued. That's when Tommy Lasorda made, all the managers look bad because they didn't stick up for him. And Tommy Lasorda made his name for himself because of that. So I mean, it's 11, 11.
All
That's
right.
I'm
That's
wearing the
bingo.
88 World Series right here. See?
Oh, look, damn, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Or you say that's the last World Series champion? Because a lot of people will call the 2020 a fluke and call it an asterisk, and don't really want to consider it as a championship for the Dodgers.
Look, dude, I'm gonna be honest. It depends who I'm talking to and how genuine they sound about it when they're talking about it. If I'm talking to a Padre fan, we swept them, and we swept them to go to the next part of the series, which was against the Braves, and they came back on the Braves 3-1. I don't see no Braves fan telling me, "Oh, the 2020 Dodgers doesn't count." No, because they were fighting for that World Series title as well, just like the Padres. So it depends who brings it up. I myself, I kind of feel like, I don't know, a 60-game season. I don't know, it doesn't count. And on record books, it does count. The MVPs count. The Cy Youngs count. You don't discredit Freddie Freeman's MVP season in 2020. Why are you discrediting the World Series? So it's kind of like that. I don't know. It depends who brings it up, and that's kind of where I feel like it's hard, dude. It's hard. As a fan that won the World Series, I don't feel it the same as 162. If they win 162, then I can compare to both and be like, yeah, it doesn't count. So that's
Yeah,
where I'm at, and it's hard, dude. It's hard because we get that asterisk, and we know what happened in 2017, and that was a heartbreaker, and they don't get that asterisk, and they did something that they didn't. But that's another topic for another day. I don't want to get into that one again, because I mean, if you've been part of this show from the get-go, we've been talking about that since we started this show. If Will is
yeah.
still out there, Will is really strongly likes to argue about that. I do too. I mean, I don't know, every baseball fan, Yankee fans, likes to argue about it as well,
Dude,
even though they didn't, they weren't in
and
the World Series.
and every Astros argument would be that, well, we've been to 7 straight ALCSs, and that's why
Yeah,
we're so dominant.
yeah,
And we get it. They finally won the real one with Dusty Baker, but
yeah.
that Astros one definitely hurts a lot of Dodger
That one
fans.
hurts. That one hurts. That one hurts. And you know what? I don't think it just hurts Dodger fans. I think it hurts a lot of MLB fans. And that topic is kind of like, they put it behind you already. But it's hard. It's hard to do. Like, and it happened in, I want to say, 1919 with the Black Sox, where they cheated. They kicked all the players out of the league. So
Yes.
they didn't give them immunity. They just kicked them out, and that was it. And they didn't do that. They gave immunity to the Astros, and that would suck though, because you have some of the good players with the Astros. Imagine if they would have done that. Where would baseball be if they kicked out all those 9 or all those 14 players out of the league, and they couldn't be participating in baseball for the rest of their lives? That'll suck. That'll really
Definitely.
suck. Right? You do have some players right now that are kind of got kicked out, got banned because they started gambling. I guess the Otani thing opened everything for MLB to be like, you know what? Let's look at the books. Let's look who is betting, and that sucks, right? It
It,
sucks
it
because,
really does.
yeah,
So you
because you
got some
have,
guys that are trying to. It was like 4 minor leaguers that are kicked out of the game of baseball. 3 of them were actually just suspended for 1 year, and then one of the prospects from the Padres is lifetime banned from baseball for gambling games. It's unfortunate. I can see these
yeah,
guys don't make too much money. They want to make some extra cash on the side, but It's unfortunate because the game of baseball promotes gambling left and right, and every ad you watch on TV, you watch Bet MGM, DraftKings, you name it, it's there on TV. Even ESPN Bet, everything you see, it's about gambling these days. Here we go, and now that's obviously triggering players to gamble. You got the David Fletcher situation, right? Another Angel comes out that it was gambling with Ipe at the time. They
Yeah.
were best friends for a reason. Um, and David Fletcher's out there in AAA still playing right now. It's under investigation, throwing knuckleballs as a pitcher now. David Fletcher.
Hmm. Hmm.
Crazy.
I did see that. I have, I guess I have Vince glowing over there being like, oh man, Frankie's coming home. You're looking at prospects, who they can trade. That's good, man. That's pretty cool. Like, if you have a trade that, you would like to propose, go ahead and put it on here. We would talk about it, of course. But yeah, I just feel like maybe MLB, if they're going to start doing that, and of course we have the all-time gambler, which is Pete Rose, and he can't be inducted into the Hall of Fame because of that. Um, you still have all these things that you're promoting, and why can't the players do it? And are you scared that the players are not going to give it their all? It takes 9 players to win a game. It takes 9 players to, get a run manufacturer and get these runs going. It just doesn't take one. And if you're looking at it that way, it's kind of sucks that we're kind of taking it that way to where they have to get banned and stuff like that. And you just said it. You hit it on the nail with that one. They don't make a lot of money. They're playing AAA. How are they going to make their money? They have to sleep in hotels or motels wherever they can. They have to share bunk beds or even sleep on the ground. Like, I would like to bring a minor league baseball player on the show so we can talk about that stuff, because that's a huge thing. And I think we're gonna have to do that, Ernie. We're gonna have to look for a minor league player so we can talk to him about the experience and not light it up. Tell us a true story, because there's not a lot of people out there saying that, oh, as a minor leaguer, this sucks because we don't get to do this, we don't get to do that, we get to sleep in buses, cars. There's people living in their cars, dude. So I'll go ahead and see if we can get a minor leaguer and talk about their experience. But yeah, dude, do you have another trivia?
No, that's the only one I had.
That was a good one. I mean, I think it was because it's mentioned all over the place. I think it's a lot of people probably would know it, but they didn't. A lot of people don't know that they did start in Brooklyn and they moved to LA. I mean, as we get older, the new generation don't know about those type of things. But yeah, dude. Um, but that home run, I want to talk about the Angel home run. The Angels, did he catch that ball?
Yeah, I want to say Trey Cabbage caught the ball, man, but somehow when he hit the wall, make some kind of contact with the fan that was wearing a Rangers Corey Seager jersey, which was random, and he found a way to drop the ball. And you see Logan O'Hoppe just stuck at first base, like, what is going on? The announcers even said he caught it, and then they said, wait, no, he didn't. And then you just see a little boy with an Angels with the ball, like, I have it right here. And it was clear that the ball was never caught. And Logan O'Hoppe is our future young star for the Angels, top tier catcher that we received from a Brandon Marsh trade.
Yeah.
He has a lot of talent, man. But it's just obviously he's in a bad Angels team right now, and we're up and growing. But yeah, man, Trey Cabbage was an Angel last year, so I thought he was gonna do his revenge and make the game, not the game-winning catch. Yeah, would it be the win? Yeah, it was gonna be the game-winning catch. The game was tied,
It
unfortunately,
was tied. Yeah, it was
but
tied.
he was gonna make it go into extra. So
I'm
it's
gonna give
crazy.
you my look on it. I think the fan kind of went and slapped the glove a little bit when he hit. So when he caught the ball and he hit the fence, and there was like a little the edge, and it went like that. So the glove's gonna go like this automatic, and then you see the hand coming and pop. So that just adds to it, and I'm like, what the hell? What did I just see? So I went back and I replayed it. I'm like, it looks like he did kind of slap his hand. I mean, that's good, right?
I was on Twitter before this, and I just saw a bunch of Ranger fans saying, "Oh, even Rangers making an impact to the Astros, making sure they lose on the road." So it was pretty funny, man. The guy's rocking a Corey Seager jersey, one of those the new ones,
Mm.
the City Connects,
Did it connect?
and you
Okay.
could tell there was some type of contact. We need to make it in slow motion, and I think we would probably clearly see where he probably smacks it out. But yeah, man, it was great to see the Astros lose. They had beaten us 2 out of 3 already. It was time we got one.
Yeah, yeah, that's not bad, dude. This is a division rivalry too, and who do they got next?
That's a good question. Diamondbacks. I was trying to
Diamondbacks.
think of who was it.
Okay.
Diamondbacks. Yeah.
Damn. It's just it was kind of hard to keep up with a lot of stuff. Like I said, I was so focused in the Dodger Yankee series that I kind of like I didn't lose sight of what's going on with the other games. Of course, you as a podcast, baseball podcast, I can't afford to do that and then come on here and like be like, what's going on? Like, no, I gotta watch highlights. I gotta make sure that I know what players did whatever they needed to do to win
Mm-hmm.
the games, the series, and stuff like that. So it's it's just I'm kind of rolling on that high right now. Like after a playoff game or a playoff series you see and you're like, damn, this is what I wanted. As a fan, of course, you hate to see your team lose, but I'm really excited that this series happened the way it happened. Like I said, the Dodgers could have lost the series, and I would have been like, this is a great series from Friday. Friday, I felt like the Dodgers were going to lose, and they won. They won on Saturday, and then they lost today, but it was a great game. I can't complain about great games. And when you see stuff like that, that's amazing, dude. That's really amazing.
I got a
Uh,
question for you. Do you
yeah,
think this is what the baseball game needs? A Dodgers, Yankees, two big markets in the World Series. Because remind you, last year we had a Rangers team that hadn't really won a World Series ever before. They were close, and then we had a Diamondbacks team that hadn't won either. What do you prefer? Watching two top teams with huge history play, or two teams that barely made it but have a Cinderella story?
dude, you know me, man. I think I've said it on the show a lot, and I like that Cinderella story a lot. And I can take it back to when the Marlins went to the '93 World Series, when the Padres went to the '98 World Series, and then the 2003 Marlins, how they got to the World Series and won that. So it kind of feels like this is what I like to see baseball. But then after this series, I kind of feel like maybe this is what baseball needs right now. It kind of feels like the Dodgers, the Yankees, the two top teams of their respective divisions and respected, I guess,
Leagues.
leagues. This is where they kind of have to go. MLB is praying for this to happen. The baseball gods are praying for this to happen because imagine if you have records that are breaking with going out of the country and playing baseball, you're gonna have records in the United States and all over the world now watching the Dodgers Yankees. And, I'm not just saying that because it's the Dodgers, and a lot of people feel that way. They kind of feel like, oh, you're just saying that because it's Dodgers. But if you hate the Dodgers, you're going to watch. If you love the Dodgers, you're going to watch. If you love the Yankees, you're going to watch. And if you hate the Yankees, you're going to watch. So it's just going to happen. You know who's creating that little tension a little bit? The Astros. Because
Hmm.
everybody hates the Astros except people from Houston.
Yeah, I
You
think
know?
we're all ready to move on from Houston already. It's been 7 years they've been in the championship series, and we're kind of ready to see a new face in baseball, right? We had a
Yeah.
little bit of flashback with a little bit of splash with the Rangers last year, but if the Yankees are finally able to take over the Astros, man, what the amount of views we would have in the game of baseball would be great, man. Because I know Vincent is a huge Guardians fan, but I'm telling you, if it's Yankees over Guardians, man, Yankees will sell out. And just imagine how much the game of baseball will grow, Carlos. Like future generation, it's already growing, but the amount of people that would watch. I have another
Yeah.
question for you though.
Yeah,
Last
yeah, go
one,
for it.
because I was
Yeah.
just thought I was going to ask you this.
Go for it, go for
I
it.
was already forgetting. Who will you choose for your future, Soto, Judge, or Otani with bets, Mookie Betts?
Damn, you have to do that one too. Dude,
That
Soto's
one
only
was sitting on my
25
head all
years.
weekend.
Yeah, Soto's only 25 years old, and that man can hit. That man is it. I think they compared him to Barry Bonds when he steps into that plate. And I told you, dude, when I was younger, looking at Barry Bonds stepping into that plate at Dodger Stadium, you knew something was going to happen, and that's what feels with Soto right now. So, um, I just like to look at gamers, and you remember I said in the beginning of the show, you have Otani that hasn't shown what I mean. I've seen it in the World Classic, but right now I think this is where you need to show out. Betts, I feel like he hides in these big moments. I haven't seen him perform in these moments. Their daughters, of course, I'm gonna say them, but as a baseball fan, you want to see gamers. Judge showed up today and yesterday, and he showed up for the Yankees. He was the only one pretty much doing everything for the Yankees. And if Soto was on there, and I've seen Soto with the Padres up close, how he steps into that plate, I would pick Judge and Soto. And
Ooh,
dude, it's I mean, it takes a lot for me to say that because, like I said, they showed up.
don't let your
They showed
Dodgers
up.
friends to hear this.
Hey, they can go ahead and hear it, and it's okay. But that they just need to understand why I'm coming from this place and saying that, because if they're not showing up, what tells you that they're going to show up in the playoffs? It's happened before where they keep calling us the choke Dodgers, like every October. They choke in October. Like, I'm tired of hearing that. And if we went and got Otani, Otani did not show up in this series. I didn't see him.
No.
Like, he came up with a lot of chances to do it. Betts came with a lot of chances to do it. And Freddie Freeman, he's the one that showed up a little bit. So this is where I kind of feel like, show up, guys. Show up. That way I can be
Yeah.
more confident in saying, let's move on with Betts and Otani. Remember, Otani is a pitcher and he hasn't pitched. So once he
Yes.
starts pitching, maybe that will change. That'll change for
That's
me.
where I would choose Otani. If Otani could come back to being the ace he is with pitching and still continues to throw 100 miles, unhittable type of pitcher, then yes, I have to lean to Otani and Betts. Because Otani is not pitching right now, that's the reason why I have to lean more to Judge and Soto. You're totally correct. Vince is talking about Bond's 2004 season. I'm currently reading a book called Game of Shadows, written by the San Francisco journalist. It was a great story, man, Vincent. I got this book for $1 at a thrift store, and it talks about how Bonds decided to take steroids and the reason why he took it. He was jealous of Mark McGwire. He was jealous of a guy that got so much attention in that 1998 season that he was like, I need to do something because I'm supposed to be the face of baseball and I'm not being recognized.
Yeah.
So it was a great story. I'm still halfway into the book, but so far so good, man. I'm getting to see what kind of personality Bonds really had and the reason why he chose to take steroids.
Yep.
And he came one off season really strong, and people looked at him like, why the heck is this guy 30 pounds heavier and big frame body? It's an amazing story. I'm going to pass it on to Carlos once I'm done.
Yes.
It was one of the best $1 book finds I've ever found in my life. So I'm just saying.
That's good, dude. I do want to read it, and that's good you brought it up. That's why I gave you the thumbs up. Like, yeah, talk about it, because that's something amazing. And why not share that book? And if you got it for $1, that's a bargain. I do want to say, Vince, if you have time, go and look at that matchup, Eric Gagne against Barry Bonds. That was an amazing, I guess, fight, a batting fight or a pitching fight, whatever you want to call
Pitching
it.
duel.
Pitching
Pitching
duel.
batter duel, I guess.
I don't know. It's amazing, and that's when the two players were at their top peak, performing well for their teams. And of course, you have the Dodger Giant rivalry, but go check it out, and I'll see if I can go ahead and post it on there, dude, because I think that's a huge matchup. A lot of people forgot about that. Eric Gagne was a Cy Young Award winner. That's a safe closer guy. He wasn't a starter, and he won a Cy Young, so he was facing Barry Bonds, an MVP. So you have a Cy Young MVP going at it every ninth inning. And that was amazing, dude. So, yeah, dude, I think we reached the hour and we talked about a lot of stuff today, which was amazing. Like every week. If you guys do have messages for us, go ahead and post them. We do have the fantasy portion of our show on Thursdays. We have Will coming on here, giving his picks and giving you ideas to pick for you to win. So he was on here earlier. We just want to give him the shout out, of course, and that's the fantasy part. And you can ask questions, of course. You can ask, should I trade this guy? Should I pick someone up for fantasy baseball? They know their stuff all the time. Him, John, and Javi for sure. Anything you want to say before we log off, Ernie?
Well, I just want to thank everybody for listening and tuning in. We had a great show this week. We hope to see you guys next week. Continuously be here every Sunday night talking great baseball with you guys. Next week, we have the Yankees Red Sox for Sunday Night Baseball. So it's an old town rivalry, and those are exciting matchups. We hopefully see some fights. This Red Sox team is not the same that it once was. They don't have that star power, but it was still a great one. The Yankees Red Sox will always be a treat for baseball fans. True. And we're happy to be for you guys here and hope to see you guys next week.
Yeah. Neto, Vince, everybody that was on, thank you guys for doing this. Thank you for messaging. Thank you for being interactive, and that we love that. From all of us here on Real Talk Baseball, I'm Carlos Baseball. This is Ernie Orange. Peace out.